Want to though?
Yeah, of course we want to see you. You look handsome.
Okay.
Got your face fixed all up handsome.
Okay, Ryan, when you see his face, I just see his nose up.
That's right. He's not adjusting accordingly. People have to adjust their own view to what people will see.
Okay. Okay, speak, Kyle, so we can see if we get your face.
Kyle, say something.
I'm gonna move upstairs. I think I'm getting bad reception where I'm currently at.
Okay. Hey, we're live. Just keep going, brother. It's all free airtime. People are watching. Let's go.
I did not know we'd actually started.
Hey, I like to keep us on our toes. Yeah, we have people waiting. They want to watch. They want to watch the show unravel here. So.
Oh man, I'm feeling the pressure now.
I'm on my bed, not my toes.
It's quite the shirt you got there, Ruben. Do you mind explaining the shirt you have on there?
Red Hot Chili Peppers. I were at work the other day, and this guy goes, "Hey, nice shirt." I was like, "Thanks." He's like, "Yeah, I worked on the Californication album." And I was like,
Nice.
"Oh, how so?" He goes, "I'm a sound engineer for drums, and it was like my first paying gig." And so he was under Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl showed him what to do. So I'm listening to this guy. I'm like, well, he's either full of it or he's for real. And I had his, as a customer, I had his name. So I just Googled his name. The guy was the real deal. It's kind of interesting to talk shop. So anyways, I saw the show recently. First time I saw them was with you, Ryan.
Yep.
Here's
That
a
was
little.
long time ago.
Do you know the connection between the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Rocky?
Please tell me.
I'm unaware of any.
Oh, there isn't any.
Not that I know of. I just thought maybe you're aware.
No, is there a Rocky connection?
Well, it's possible that the tube socks that you see in Rocky 3 are the same tube socks that because there's 4 members of the band, and between Apollo and Rocky, there's 4 tube socks that they wear. I'm saying that perhaps those 4 tube socks are the same tube socks that the band wore for the very last time when you and I saw them in concert live.
Yeah, they like to put their tube socks not around their ankles.
No. They haven't done it in almost 20 years.
Yeah, well, good for them. I'd have to wear a baby sock. All right, so welcome everybody to Going the Distance, the Rocky Series podcast. Today is episode 46, if you can believe it. Everyone, we're at episode 46. How does that make everyone feel?
You know, I feel like I'm really like 28 episode, but even though that we're at 46, I just feel youthful that way.
Yeah, we look like we don't look a day over 28 episode, really. I think this is Kyle, we should welcome. So, Ruben, say hi.
Hi.
I'm Ryan, and today we have with us Kyle Pederson from Alberta, Canada, our fellow Canadian guest co-host, guest. He's been on a few of our shows. He was on the 40th anniversary special. He's chimed in during the Rocky 1 and Rocky 2, and I think this is your first time chiming in for a Rocky 3 discussion. Are you ready to go, Kyle?
I'm ready to go, eh? No do to boot it.
Wow, you're awfully Canadian. Can you hold that accent for the whole time we're talking?
Not a chance, folks. Not a chance.
All right, so does anyone remember where we left off?
Before we get there, let's cue the music.
Oh, yeah, cue the music.
And for everybody watching live, you're going to have no music. It's just for the podcasters. You can find us on iTunes, Android, anything that you podcast with. Just type in Going the Distance. No, what podcast?
We lost you there a little bit, Rube. You got a frozen kiss face. What's going on? You back?
I think Ruben died.
Oh,
nice knowing you, bro.
There you go, Ruby.
What happened?
I think it was just a little bit of lag. So Ruben was what Ruben was saying there. This is why I love post edit, because I can clean it all up. So what Ruben was saying is, after we cued the music, and you didn't hear any music, but you will when we later release this on our podcast. Yeah, you can subscribe to us on this channel. Hit subscribe. It's very easy. So our 2 viewers that are watching right now, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, subscribe. What does subscribe do, you ask? Well, when you subscribe to this channel, you'll get an alert via your browser that we're live, and you can come say hi. Also, we're on iTunes. We're on Stitcher. We're on Google Play. We are on any way that you can listen to a podcast, you can find us. How's that, Rube?
It's perfect. Thank you, brother.
Okay. All right, so where we last left off, we spent 2 episodes. It's crazy, I know, but we spent 2 episodes talking about the opening montage of Rocky 3. We don't have to go over it anymore. If you want to listen to that, go back to episodes 43 and 44. We talk about that in depth. But today, we're starting off with Paulie. Poor Paulie sitting in a bar having a drink, and he's moping. He is moping.
Yep.
And I believe he's in the Lucky 7 Tavern.
Yeah, he's back. That's right. He's back, and the same bartender that was in Rocky 1 and Rocky 5. I don't know his name, but he's serving drinks. And Paulie's at the Lucky. What's it called again?
Lucky 7. And I believe, I don't know what the actor's name is, but it's Tony. Which I'm sure half the neighborhood is, because they're Italian.
And Paulie is actually watching on the TV screen. He's watching Clubber Lang talking to the press, calling out Balboa that he can't duck me forever. He can run, but he can't hide. T is on a tear.
Yeah, he just won a fight. He had like a towel over his head or something. Like there was a post-fight interview. Right. And yeah. And in the bar, they had like pictures of Rocky up on the wall. Everyone's telling Paulie to go say hi to Rocky. So it's all about The Rock.
Yeah, the Rocky is a celebrity. Well, he's a local celebrity. I mean, we have a few local celebrities in our city, Victoria. And anywhere that they probably went to school, or, you know, especially if Rocky trains at a certain gym or went to a certain bar, you know, they're going to have his picture everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously the bartender doesn't think Rocky's a clown like he thought Apollo Creed was.
No, that's right. And what I love in the interview, I don't know if you caught this, guys, but the interview that they're doing with Clubber Lang, they mentioned that Clubber Lang's a southpaw.
Yes, I noticed that.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what else to say, but
yeah, well, they're both left-handed. Ruben, are you still there? Have we lost Ruben?
No, you haven't.
Yeah,
you haven't.
Okay.
I'm doing some.
Are you doing your research?
Pardon me?
You doing your research?
Be sure to edit this part out.
It's okay. It's okay. When you catch up, we'll just join the conversation. We just don't want to let you.
We'll do.
Okay. All right. So Paulie's having his drink, and Mr. T, Clubber Lang, is calling out Rocky on the TV. Now, Kyle, any reason why you think Paulie's so cheesed off? Do you have any theories why he's so angry at this point in his life at Rocky?
Well, I think he's a jealous, lazy bum. Personally, no, I don't know. I think it's just. I think Paulie might have saw himself. Actually, I don't know. I think he's just generally jealous because Rocky's just kicking ass, and he is not.
Okay, well, I don't have a theory. You're right. I think the character himself, and once again, pure accolades to Burt Young and his ability as an actor. He's an awesome actor. And I have a theory. I know people personally in my life, I'm sure you guys do too, that no matter the situation they're in, they're miserable. Does that make sense? So
sure.
Here's a guy,
unless you're complaining.
Right. And here's a guy that, you know, has a brother-in-law that is a multi-million-dollar world heavyweight champion of the world. This is a good gig. And Rocky is the type of character within the movie that he'll give Paulie whatever Paulie asks for. We'll get to that. And Paulie has this weird sense of, I don't know, pride, but it's beyond pride. It's this weird sense of like beating himself up, where he can't not only be happy for his brother-in-law and essentially his sister and his sister's success marrying this guy. You know, it's an easy street. I would love it if any of my brothers were multi-million-dollar championship. I would say, hey, how can I help out? Do you want me to go in the ring with you and hold your bucket? I'll hold your spit bucket for $70,000 a year.
Well, thank you, Ryan. Thank you.
I think we gotta get some honesty, Ryan. we gotta talk some honesty here. I think a lot of people, while they like their friends, there's part of you that does not want your friends to be more successful than you are.
There can be that. That's
You ever
actually
had that?
Yeah, but that's not me, to be honest with you. I hear you.
I'm not saying that's you, but I think that's a lot of people.
Well, it's human nature. I mean, it's that weird competitive. I don't know. Maybe it's that, I don't know, from the time before we were human, the need to be the tribe that's better than the other tribe, that sense of competition. I don't know what it is in our system to kind of have that. I guess in a good way, it can motivate us as long as we don't let the sense of jealousy overtake us. But it can be a good motivating factor to see success, and you can learn from other people who are successful and see why they're successful. But if you let it eat at you, then yeah, you'll never be happy. So we see Paulie here. He's not happy. Ribbon, go ahead. You were about to say something.
Well, I was going to say before that I'm glad that you can hold my spit bucket. That's
I'm happy to do that.
I can't pay you the 70,000 yet, but that's it.
Okay.
Is it 70,000 Canadian?
Does it matter?
Yeah, it matters. It's 30%. So.
So what are you going to say, Kyle?
Anyways, Paulie's anger's been brewing for a while, right? Like you see when Rocky's winning all those fights, Paulie's getting progressively more angry.
Right.
And you see him like even drinking at one of the fights. He's turning to the bottle.
Yeah,
so,
I love that.
I don't know why people drink with holding their drink in a paper bag. I've never understood that. It's not like you're fooling anyone.
You're right.
It's obvious that you're drinking.
Do we ever see anyone drinking soda from a paper bag?
I'm going to do that one day.
It's like, hey, what do you got in the bag there? Oh, it's just a Diet Coke. You know, I just want people to ask me what's in my bag. I wonder why. I think it's because it's illegal to drink in public. So it's like, I guess it's like if you cover it with a paper bag, it makes it legal. It'd be like it's illegal to rob somebody, but if I rob you with a paper bag over my head, I guess it makes it legal.
I don't know. I think suffice it to say, though, for one reason or another, he's jealous of Rocky's success, and I guess at this point too, he hasn't moved in with Rocky yet, so he's still living in like the old neighborhood. His lifestyle probably hasn't changed that much, and his brother is like living like a life of luxury now. Both in terms of wealth and fame, right? So I think Paulie probably in the old neighborhood, in that kind of depressing situation, is feeling like he's kind of been left behind.
Right, absolutely. And that's kind of what I think they're trying to do, is they're just showing that Paulie's jealous, he's shallow, he's angry. I know they got to give him a bit of a story arc. He doesn't have much really to do in this movie, and I think really in parts 3 and 4, Paulie's not really that big of a character. He was really big in 1 and pretty big in 2. But I think in 3, I think they kind of had to give him a bit of a story arc. And this is kind of where it goes. So he's walking out of the bar, and the bartender says, hey, give Rocky my best. You know, give him my best for me. Because, you know, he knows that's his brother-in-law. And Paulie's like, you know, I've been coming in here for years. And do you ever give me your best? And so we're just seeing how shallow. So he's drunk. Because now he's walking the streets. He's walking the streets of Philadelphia. And I love how he's just walking around, and he picks the arcade, which is it's a really funny that arcade. Like this would be early '80s. So I guess arcade games would be kind of a newer thing. Well, yeah, arcade. Yeah, well, this is '82,
and I noticed there's no young people in this arcade.
Oh no, this is for adults only, man. This is like you guys. There's one guy wearing there's one guy in the arcade wearing like a Vietnam vet jacket. Like he just got off like discharged from duty in Vietnam like a year ago, which is maybe it's a foreshadow of the Rambo character.
Yeah, exactly.
Rambo India. A little bit of a side note: Rambo India coming out.
Oh,
Who's
yeah.
excited? Who's excited for that?
Yeah, so, Kyle, did you hear about this India Rambo?
No, I haven't actually. I'm not big into Rambo, to be honest with you.
That's fine. This is a Rocky podcast. We'll get to the Rambo series sometime later, maybe. But we definitely talk about Stallone. We talk about Stallone's career, obviously, throughout these podcasts. And Rambo is certainly his next biggest franchise. But there's they're redoing Bollywood, I guess, India, a Rambo, and boy, I think I'm going to have to see it just because it's going to be a disaster. But I think David Morrell, the author, I saw on his Facebook feed, he wasn't aware of this. So there might be some lawyers talking.
It's India for you.
That's weird that India would do something like that, but hopefully, I don't know. Anyways, we'll see how that goes. All right, so so Paulie walks into this arcade. There's various arcades going on, arcade games going on, and he's just walking around. I wonder why Paulie went in here in the first place. Maybe he just wanted to look around at arcades because they were, like Kyle was saying, they're kind of new back then, like the idea of mass arcades. And we've got this. He goes to the pinball machine. I've always said that if I was ever like a millionaire, I would have a games room, and I've always loved the pinball machine. And I would have a whole games room dedicated to various pinball machines from like movies like Lethal Weapon, Rocky, all these 80s and 90s, like pinball machine, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all that stuff, Star Wars. I think the pinball machine games were a lot of fun. I really do. And there's a Rocky one. I think this is a legit Rocky pinball machine.
Well, what do you mean by legit?
Well, it's not it's not a movie prop per se. Like they didn't. Well, Ruben just asked, "How's the audio?" It's good for me. How's the audio for you, Kyle?
That's fine. There was a point, I don't know, a couple minutes ago where it was a little choppy, but it's been good overall.
Okay. Ruben?
Well, that's why I brought it up. It's harder for me to jump in when I'm not hearing everything. But you guys seem to be hearing each other very well.
And I'm hearing you pretty good, too.
Well, Ryan and I have a psychic connection, so even if the audio fades out, we still know what we're saying.
Well, I think with the geometrical shapes behind your head is giving you that an edge that I just don't have.
Yeah, Kyle, what's going on behind you there? Why is...
This is my wife's office area, and my wife and I painted the wall like this because we're artistes.
Wow. Okay. Well, Bert,
on my wall. Like I have to come over there.
That's good. I like it. Hey, I'm in like a garage, so.
Ruben looks like he's on a psychiatrist couch right now.
Well, it's my bed, so it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
So, Kyle, you asked if I think it is a legit pinball machine, meaning like, they make pinball machines for various whatever. So I think this pinball machine, let's say Rocky 3 was never made, this pinball machine would exist, if that makes sense. Because
I that makes sense. What you're saying makes sense, but I don't agree.
Okay, why do you say?
Because what's on the pinball machine, it looks like the Rocky. I'm trying to remember. Maybe I don't remember it that well, but it's like Rocky's the champ type of thing. And I suppose after Rocky 2, you could have made a pinball machine like that. But it seems like a really Rocky 3 themed pinball machine.
Okay.
Like if it was like something that really resembled the first or second movie, I would agree. But to me, it seems too like the third movie.
So you don't think a pinball machine? Yeah, it's hard to see. I'm looking at it right now, and I can't really see the gameplay behind it. So maybe it was just a prop. But I'm sure they've made Rocky pinball machines since then. I do like how there's a. I do like how there's
one right now that got sold on eBay. It doesn't have the price, but it looks like it's just like Rocky. Yeah, well, actually, why don't I send you the link there, Ryan? You can tell me if it's the same one.
Now, does anyone remember the pinball game playing next to the Rocky pinball?
Yeah, I was I was a hormonal teenager when I first saw this, so I definitely remember.
Playboy.
Yeah, there's a bunch of girls in like a hot tub or something like that.
I love it. We see Paulie staring really intently at the machine. It's like, oh, maybe he's staring. Maybe he meant to hit the Playboy.
Yeah.
He's like, how dare you, Hefner, tarnish the image of the PG Rocky film franchise with that Playboy machine. And anyways, well, he hit the Rocky, smashed it up. And the next scene, of course, is Rocky bailing his brother-in-law out of jail. And can we just comment on how Stallone looks in this scene?
Okay, before we get there, let's pause there, Ryan, if we can. Rocky 3 came out in what year?
82?
Okay. The Rocky Pinball Machine came out in 82 by Gottlieb Rocky, the name, but it's 1982.
Okay.
So that Rocky machine, that was probably cross-promotion marketing that they had there, because the Rocky Pinball Machine came out in 82.
There you go. So we have that good old life and art mixing each other up in these movies.
Yeah, so there's one for sale right now for $6,500.
I believe my mom is listening right now. Mom, Christmas ideas. Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah, and Kyle's mom, if you're listening, Christmas ideas for Ryan. So I'll accept it.
Not you, for me.
No, I know.
Me.
I'm just saying, if she's going to buy one, maybe she'll get a good deal and get in a second one. I'll take it as well.
Well, she is planning to visit Victoria, Ryan, so, she could bring that with her, I guess.
Nice. So let's comment on Stallone, how Stallone looks now. He looks metahuman now. He looks so different than parts 1 and 2. Like, what is going on here? I know he lost a lot of body fat. I think that's what accounts for the chiseled face. I don't know if you noticed, but in part 3, his face is so chiseled, and there's like zero fat in his face. I think some people think he got work done, but did he get work done?
Paulie says he got work done, and of course it's within the realm of the movie, so that doesn't mean he got work done in real life. But I would suspect he probably got some work done. I don't know for sure. He might not have, but like Paulie says, like, you got your face fixed up all handsome.
Yeah, I love that. Now again,
that was kind of a reference.
Yes, Stallone, as we know, writes this dialogue. So I would find it interesting if he got work done. Did he write for Paulie to say that? Or was that Burt Young like ad-libbing? Like, I kind of wonder.
Yeah, we're gonna have to ask Burt on his Facebook page.
Yeah, I don't think we could definitely ask Burt on his Facebook. I feel like I have just as much.
Never know.
I feel like I have just as much chance talking to Burt Young as I do talking to Sylvester Stallone at this point. I don't know why. That holy trio of Talia Shire, Burt Young, and Stallone. I mean, and Carl Weather. But this way, anyone who is in the first 10 credits of any of these movies have not wanted to come back and talk to this podcast.
Well, we can get a Ouija board out and ask Burgess Meredith, maybe.
True. Hey, speaking of Ouija board, I did have a guest lined up for this weekend, but I don't think it's not going to happen. But we're going to get her on. She's actually in this movie. Her name is, I don't know how to pronounce it because I only know what it looks like spell-wise, but I think it's Petri Negri. And she, there's a scene in, remember when Rocky's training for the fight before he loses, that training sequence? We don't want to get into that just now, but there's a sequence where Frank Stallone is singing. Yeah. And he's singing that horrible, horrible song. Pushing, getting ready for a fight. Pushing.
Your champ every day and night.
Absolutely horrible song. And I hope they made it horrible on purpose because that whole training sequence is horrible. But the girl singing backup vocals next to Frank Stallone, I got her on the horn and she said that she'll come on our show. So that being said, her job now is she is a seance reader.
Oh, Ryan, we have to we have to contact Burgess Meredith for that episode. You got to get me on there, man.
I don't know if she's going to do any of her work while on screen. I don't know if that's her deal, but that's something I could.
I'd pay for that.
Yeah, well, people do pay for it. So Anyways, she's an interesting character. She seemed very open to talking to us, and her job is I don't know what they're called, but I'll send that link later because but she was really excited I got a hold of her. She said that she took the gig to get her SAG credit. That's why she got that. That was her first credit, was Rocky III backup singer. Okay, so Rocky's face is all fixed up real good. He is dressed
like $1 million.
Oh yeah.
Here his shoes, right? Yeah, you have those really nice shoes with the wooden heels. You really hear the clicking on the floor when he walks.
Yeah. He looks almost uncomfortable in that suit that he's wearing. It is like, can he move? He's walking very stiffly. He's like one little flex of his pecs. I think that jacket's going to go flying off.
Yeah, and it's like, this is presumably at like 3 a.m. or something. Like, this is, usually you get a call in like the middle of the night and you got to get out of bed and you throw something on and go down to the police station. Rocky looks like he's going to get knighted or something anytime soon. Like, I don't know what the deal is.
He probably came back from some sort of Maserati or American Express shoot or who knows what, but he is looking good. He's looking sharp. And Paulie asks if Adrian's there, and Rocky says, no, she's home. And this is where Paulie gets into his little argument. He goes, well, me and her used to be tight until you came in. So we're starting to see a little bit of why his... Can we explain this relationship? Because somebody help me understand Paulie's almost incestuous infatuation with his sister. Though not uncommon, it's kind of an awkward ongoing theme between Rocky 1 and 3. This weird, I don't know, jealousy that he has over Rocky's relationship with Adrian. The whole coma scene, he was upset that her husband is by his wife's bedside, but Paulie gets all bent out of shape about that. He then just throws in now, like, my sister and I used to be tight till you came along, even though it was Paulie that arranged this whole thing. Ruben, looks like you're going to say something.
Well, I kind of wonder if he's writing what he knows. Remember, he was married at the time. So perhaps he's a lot of people just write what they know. Maybe he had in-laws that were kind of like that.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's a great theory, because you're talking about Stallone writing his life experiences into the script, because it's easier to kind of come up with ideas when they're happening around you.
Yeah.
So he's famous. We know these movies mimic his actual career in life. So Rocky III is definitely, he's at the height of his career. He's about to come out with Rambo or First Blood Part 1. I mean, Stallone is a millionaire. A multi-millionaire, biggest movie star in the world, really, at this time. You say Sylvester Stallone anywhere, like India, for example, people are going to know who he is.
Yeah, I think when Paulie says we used to be tight, what he means is they used to have this weird codependent relationship where he more or less controlled her, and now that's not the case anymore.
And then he said, oh, sorry, go ahead, Rube.
I was just saying, I can see that. Once there's a codependency going on, somebody leaves, another person's freaking out.
And then Paulie goes, I raised her, and she didn't bother coming down here. So he gets mad again that Adrian didn't come to the jail, that it was Rocky that came to the jail. He's upset. He just can't handle anything that Rocky does.
And he doesn't say thanks for bailing me out of the drunk tank either.
Oh, no. Well, this is where he goes to the whole thing
whatsoever. He probably thinks it's Rocky's fault that he's in there in the first place. Hello?
And so Rocky says to Paulie, she doesn't know that you're here. She doesn't know that you're in jail. And then Paulie turns around, and and says, you can up and go to hell. You know that? Like, what the hell? What? Where's this coming from? Rocky just said your sister doesn't know that you're in jail. And Paulie goes, you can go to hell.
Yeah, that's weird. And then at what point is he like, Paulie goes on about how he gives Rocky all this stuff, and then like Rocky doesn't repay him in any way.
Well, Rocky then says, this is a great secret. This is why I'm breaking this down. I hope you guys don't mind. I'm watching as we're talking, because I really don't want to miss the nuance in the scene. This dialogue between Rocky and Paulie, there's a lot being kind of exposed and talked about. And it's so quick that I think when you see this movie the first time, even for the 10th time, I know I miss things like the little subtleties, and so this is where Paulie says, Rocky says, watch your mouth, like, and then Paulie goes right into the angry mode, like, you gonna whack me? I don't sweat you, like he's totally provoking Rocky. I guess he might still be intoxicated, which is true too.
Yeah, or he's either still intoxicated, which is probably the case, or he's hungover.
Right.
And, if you're hungover, you feel like crap, you're really short-tempered and grumpy. Like, you probably don't pull any punches, right? So
that's true. It gives you that courage juice, so to speak. And, of course, Rocky says, screw your head on right. And Paulie says, well, it's your head that's not screwed on right. And Rocky says, what do you mean? What did I do?
Oh, yeah.
This is where Paulie says, what did you do? Nothing for yourself. You did great for yourself. You fixed your face up handsome, nice clothes. So there's that.
You move me in, you don't move me in.
I don't get it. You fixed your face up handsome. And what'd you do for Paulie? Anything. 3 years. So I like this. I do love how I do love the continuity of the Rocky franchise in many ways. We get mentioned here that it's been 3 years since Rocky 2. So already we got the character Paulie saying, "Hey, it's been 3 years since Rocky 2. What have you done for what have you done for me in 3 years? Anything?"
Nobody knows. Sorry, I was going to do a impersonation. Decided not to.
Oh, that's good, Roof. No, keep going with that. Let's hear this impersonation.
Nobody owes nobody nothing. You owe yourself. You're wrong.
Yeah,
Friends don't owe.
Friends don't
owe. They do because they wanted to.
Okay, well, we're getting ahead of that.
Pardon me?
We're getting ahead of ourselves because we're getting ahead of ourselves, but that's great. No, it's coming up. So Paulie goes, what did you get me? Did you get me a job? And he goes, you didn't get me a job. You just gave me this. He takes off the watch.
What's it called?
The stinking X-Lax watch.
X-Lax watch. I love it.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the watch. Ryan and I were talking earlier about.
Oh, yeah? What about it?
Okay, now, Ryan, you're watching the scene. I'm curious. Now,
okay.
And Paulie throws the watch on the ground, right?
Yep.
And then Rocky tries to pick it up, but then Paulie kicks it out of the way and says, leave it down.
Goes, what? There.
Am I remembering that right?
Yeah, it's a great scene. He throws the watch down, and Rocky's face is like, come on, man. Like, that's a gift, and it's probably, I don't know how much X-Lax watches cost, but I think they're expensive.
That was probably like a third of Rocky's fight earnings from his first fight.
Yeah, sure. I knew somebody that had a Rolex watch, and it was $50,000. 50,000.
50 grand?
Yep. Yeah, watches like that are a real status symbol, so people are willing to pay a lot of money. But the reason I bring this up is that it appears to me in this movie that they left without the watch. Now, fast forward to Rocky Balboa, when Paulie gets laid off from the meatpacking plant, he walks into the restaurant with that massive chunk of beef, and Rocky asks what happens, and Paulie says, oh, I retired. And then Rocky says to Paulie, since when do they give people meat instead of watches? And then Paulie shows him his watch and says, I have a watch. You gave me a watch.
Oh,
but then
yes, that's
he
good.
Didn't have that because he kicked it away.
Well,
unless Rocky either A, got him a new watch or they ended up picking up the watch anyways.
Right. And as far as movie continuity goes, they didn't film the scene of them picking up. I mean, maybe Paulie got to his senses, and maybe Paulie himself picked up and goes, it is kind of an expensive watch. But yeah, or Rocky could have easily just bought him another one. He got even more rich by Rocky 4.
Yeah, or it could just be they screw up continuity a lot in the Rocky movies, especially the later ones. And Rocky Balboa was decades after, so I think they might have just forgot. Right. If they did leave that watch at the parking lot, whoever found that really lucked out.
No kidding.
Imagine if you're some cop and you're going home from a hard day and you find this like $10,000 watch on the ground.
Crazy.
Well,
people find money.
Yeah, that's true, Rube.
What's the most people ever found?
I've never found it.
$20.
I've never found any substantial amount of money. Kyle?
I found $20. My dad in Toronto found $100 on the ground once.
Wow.
Nice.
That's the most I've ever heard of someone finding.
Yeah, he's got me beat. I once found $5 in a ball pit.
I think I found money. Over my years, I have found money, but nothing that would stick in my brain of like, oh, this is a gold mine. But you hear about people finding like thousands of dollars of cash, and I don't know. There's actually been some good movies written about that. No Country for Old Men, and was it A Simple Plan was another good one back in the 90s. I don't know if you remember that one, Simple Plan with Billy Bob.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So those are good movies about finding money. Okay, so the Xbox watch gets kicked away, and Paulie says it never kept good time anyway. What does that mean? How does a $50,000 watch not keep good time? Now, this is really interesting. Now, the part I'm going to read this out with you guys, so just, collect some ideas here.
Sure.
Because Paulie goes into some of their history here. This is like, without captions, I missed this stuff. But this is interesting because Paulie goes into their history as when they were young. So they've known each other since... Yeah, he goes, you forgot when we were a punk. Says, you forgot when you were a punk. So he's talking to Rocky. He goes, Rocky, you forgot that you were a punk. And and those guys used to laugh at you because you were so jive. And who used to whack those bums out? That's so really interesting. There was a time that Paulie was a bit of the thug. That Paulie was, and we get this from his character that in Rocky 1 that he says he doesn't mind breaking thumbs. So this guy, Paulie has a violent past.
Yeah, and he's a big man. He's he could probably punch in real life. He could probably punch you pretty hard.
He's standing right next to Stallone here, and he's the same height as Stallone. And Paulie, or Burt Young, the character, and of course Burt Young, the actor, and Paulie, the character. Yeah, I mean, he was street tough. He was tough, and he probably got in scraps. And he's not afraid of anybody. When he says, "I don't sweat you," I think it comes off as comedy a little bit, but I think truly he's not afraid.
He said that to Apollo Creed in the second movie too. I don't sweat you.
That's right. When you see Al Capone, he's like, I don't sweat you. And that's when Apollo goes, who's that, Al Capone? Oh,
yeah, so he's gotten physical confrontations or near physical confrontations with 3 heavyweight champions, at least.
Crazy.
Thunder Lips?
What was I going to say? Well, and Thunder Lips, but Tommy Gunn.
Yeah, Tommy Gunn punched him.
And then Apollo Creed, he almost got in a confrontation with, and then Rocky.
And Thunder Lips hit him with the chair.
Okay. No, he hit him with the chair. He busted a chair over his back. Paulie.
And then Thunder Lips threw Paulie. So yeah, Paulie hit Thunder Lips with the chair, and then Thunder Lips picked up Paulie and threw him.
I thought he punched him in the head. I thought he put him in a headlock and punched him.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that big charity match later. We'll dissect that, but yeah, that's that. we'll get to the bottom of it.
I think Paulie's older than Rocky by a few years, right?
Yeah, I think they say that in the films.
So when they were young, say they were talking about when they were say Paulie was 16 and Rocky was 13, there was a big physical difference between 3 years at that age, right? So if Rocky was being made fun of by his peers, someone like Paulie would be older and a lot bigger and could bail him out.
Sure. Yeah, there was probably that. And he talked about when he was a punk in his young age. And then Rocky says, after Paulie mentions, I used to whack those bums out. And then Rocky says, well, they laughed at both of us. And then Paulie says, no one laughed at me. So he says that nobody laughed at him. I think he's kind of feeling like Rocky was the guy that I protected. So we are kind of getting to the bottom of Paulie's anger here, aren't we? This scene tells a lot.
Paulie probably at some point in his life felt superior to Rocky. Even in the first movie, Paulie had a steady job, albeit a job he hated and wanted to be a loan shark. But Paulie was a homeowner. Paulie was just generally doing a lot better than Rocky. And then So probably in his mind, he should be doing better than Rocky, and then all of a sudden, Rocky just completely eclipses him, essentially overnight.
Hey, just so you guys know, on our YouTube channel, when we do these live things, it does show us while you're off screen. So if you're not talking, the video of you is still visible to people. The little video.
So I can't pick my nose and eat it?
Well, you can. It's just there for the whole world to see.
Well, what are you saying?
Well, Ruben's Ruben's is like chill. So people are watching this. They're like, look at Ruben. He's just chill.
I've been relaxing. Just showing off my. Just doing some research, gentlemen. Just doing some research.
No, and I actually wasn't saying that as an insult at all. But I actually didn't know that. I think this is a new thing because I'm watching us on the YouTube channel. It's about a 15-second delay, and yeah, we're all there. Everyone's there, so you can do your head nod. It's like a real panel discussion, like CNN when they have the talking heads.
Yeah,
I've been trying to discreetly drink a beer while talking to you guys, and I thought I was getting away with it, doing it off camera when one of you was talking. So.
Just get a brown paper bag, and no one will notice.
Of course. Why didn't I think of that?
Ruben, you and I was giving you a half a second to get the joke.
Thank you, Ryan.
You believe me when I was going to say it if you were going to say yeah. So actually. Kyle, go get a brown paper bag.
I did some research about the brown paper bag. So basically, people would give the brown paper bag so people wouldn't see what people purchased. But it does not, in any state in America, give you A-OK to drink liquor. You know, you can have open liquor anywhere. So
you're absolutely correct. And I knew it didn't override the law. It's just in movies and stuff. It's just funny how we all know as a viewer what's in that bag.
You know, it might be cheaper because you can't always put product on a show, and so maybe for like viewing, like we know it's liquor, but they can't put Coors or something like that. Like if you're watching, let's say Seinfeld, I don't know if there's any drinking scenes in Seinfeld, but they can't have Coors or something. I don't know any other
like brand names. Yeah, you couldn't have like Budweiser or something like that.
I remember a beer drinking in movies and stuff. It's always a brown bottle. It's usually a prop bottle.
Sometimes they have brand names, and I think you have to basically get permission or something first, or
they pay.
If it's popular enough, different brands will fight to get in the movie.
Yeah.
It's funny because now that you mention that, this is going to be a big time spoiler alert, okay? But in the most recent movie, Creed, when Paulie had passed on, Rocky put a liquor bottle on top of Paulie's gravestone, and they showed it. I don't know if it's like a real brand. I've never seen it before, but it was like 3 Roses or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
That apparently was Paulie's favorite.
Well, Paulie's got class. The Roses shows that he's just classy. It's a soft side.
All right, so nobody laughed at Paulie. Nobody laughed at him. And this is interesting. This is a big. Now he says here, who was the first person to fix you up with your? Who was the person to fix you up with your first woman? Do you remember this part?
Yeah, I thought initially he was talking about Adrian, but no, he was not. And you can know that for sure.
Yeah, let me read this out. This is good. I'm going to read this verbatim. So Paulie says, "Who?" Oh, okay. Just give me a second here. He says, "Tell me, who fixed you up with your first woman?" Yeah, and like Kyle was saying, I thought for years that he was talking about Adrian. And he goes, "No." He goes, "I was responsible." And then. So Paulie's saying, I fixed you up with the first girl that you made love to put it simply.
Is that what he meant?
Yes, with your first girl. I would assume so. His first true love, his first girlfriend, his first real woman.
I'm surprised Rocky went through with that given her current state.
And then Rocky says basically his response to Paulie, yeah, sure, you set me up with my first girl. She was pregnant. That's what Rocky says.
Though? But she must have been like obviously pregnant, or else, unless she told him, he wouldn't know.
It doesn't
She
state
must have been showing.
Yeah, it doesn't state in the conversation. All we know is that Paulie's saying, "Hey, man, I fixed you up with your first sexual experience." And Rocky's response, I mean, this is written in the film. Like, his response was, "She was pregnant." Like, thanks, but no thanks.
I always figured, I don't know, I never thought sexual experience. You could be right. I'm not saying you're wrong.
And then Paulie's response to that was, "So what? You was no prize either."
It's terrible.
That's a pretty big burn.
Terrible.
It's a very telling piece of dialogue. We've got Paulie bragging about Rocky's first experience. Rocky's saying, "Dude, you're the first girl. She was pregnant." And Paulie's like, "Well, you were a piece of garbage meat too." Like I said, to equate a pregnant girl to some lower, like it's total. You couldn't write that today.
It's terrible.
It is terrible. Like the quality of a woman is lowered by her how pregnant she is, or if she's pregnant. Anyways,
well, okay, you know what though? I think if you're a pregnant woman and you're showing, especially, I think it would be quite hard to date someone because everyone there is like, okay, if I'm in a relationship with her, there's going to be like a new baby there. I'm basically signing on to be a dad if this thing goes anywhere, right?
Right, yeah, and to be fair to that conversation, because it's not fleshed out, we're assuming that might just be on the sexual side of things, but maybe it's, the whole responsibility that Rocky would be put up with a future single mother. He's not capable of taking care of this child, and so the whole slew of responsibilities that Rocky perceived with a pregnant girlfriend. So there's a whole, but that's just it. It's just all speculation from two pieces of dialogue.
I wonder what the Rocky story would have been had he chosen to go with that girl and still pursue his dream of being a boxer.
Who knows? Maybe she would have been more supportive than Adrian was, because you know how Adrian was always like parts 1 through 4, pretty much not giving her all support, or basically 2, 3, and 4, really. And imagine he had this other girl was like, "Yeah, Rocky, go knock his lights out. You got it. So Rocky's like, "All right, let's do this."
Yeah, she'd be like, "Rocky, get in the ring. We need to buy formula, buddy. Let's go." Come on.
And then Paulie goes on to say, "I always give you. What do? You buy a new house, you move Mick in, right? Is there something the matter with me?" "Yeah, Paulie."
"Yeah, you drink like a fish, your hygiene's questionable, you are crusty." The list goes on. Like, of course, Paulie.
And then he says, "I got feelings, they ain't cardboard." I guess he points to himself. He's referring that he's not an inanimate object. I guess he picked cardboard as an example of that.
I don't remember that line.
He holds his tie. My apologies. He holds his tie when he says this ain't cardboard. Is that referring to anything that I'm not aware of?
I think there was later in the movie cardboard cutouts of Rocky.
Yeah, but he's holding his tie. No, Paulie's holding his own tie when he says this ain't cardboard.
Yeah, I have no idea. No idea.
It's an odd choice. Is this Burt Young just being Burt Young? Is this Stallone writing this dialogue? And again, why did he tell Burt Young, hold up your tie and say this ain't cardboard? And like, if I was the actor, I might be, that's cool. I can do that, director Stallone. But what does that mean? Like, when I'm doing this, what does that mean? I don't know. It's an interesting piece of acting. And then
I googled cardboard neckties.
Okay,
and you can buy cardboard neckties.
Well, Paulie's not wearing one,
so maybe
it's legit neckties.
Yeah, maybe it's like a
that sounds like a weird sex act or something. I don't know. Like, there's all these names for them. It's like you're getting a cardboard necktie or something.
Oh yeah. I never thought of that.
Dream
Thanks,
big.
Kyle. All right, so we're gonna finish up this conversation because that's gonna be our episode. We're just gonna do one episode tonight.
All right, guys.
So, this is where Rocky says everyone's got them. Like, everyone's got problems, Paulie. Everyone has issues in their life, and then of course Paulie says to hell with everybody. And this is where Rocky, a little bit not out of character, but this is kind of the old Rocky, the uncivilized, the Rocky from the hood, saying maybe it's to hell with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Rocky has like this amazing ability to put up with Paulie when almost nobody else can.
Well, nobody else can.
And so, yeah, nobody else can. So when Rocky says "to hell with you," you've really pushed his buttons.
Yeah, absolutely. And Paulie then says, "I don't want to listen to this crap." So this kind of stings Paulie. Now here's Rocky really just giving Paulie like the hard truth, so to speak. And then Rocky goes into that big speech. He talks like everybody owes you a living. And then Paulie goes, "Shut your mouth."
Shut your freaking mouth.
Yeah, shut your freaking mouth. Yeah, this is when it's the friends. Oh, I think this is when he says it, right?
That's exactly right. So here we go.
Yeah.
And for the audio release that I do, of course, I'll insert the actual conversation. But for those listening live right now, this is where Rocky says, "Look, nobody owes nobody nothing. You owe yourself. You're wrong. Friends owe. Friends don't owe.
They do because they want to do.
That's right.
Do because they want to do."
Shut your freaking mouth.
Yes.
He goes, "Shut your freaking mouth. You've been keeping me down," says Paulie. And then what? Do you remember what Rocky says here?
Yeah, I think I can quote it.
Yeah.
Says, "You ain't down, and you ain't a loser.
No, he goes, you
You're
know.
just a jealous."
No.
No, stop, slow down. Before he gets to there, you're right, Kyle. Before he gets there, he goes, "Down. You know, you're like a crazy brother to me." I love that.
Oh yeah, right. That's right.
I like that because he goes like, because he still puts a brother in there.
Yes.
Because
family.
You can say certain things to family that you can't really say to a friend. And so sure you got the crazy in there, but you're still a brother.
Right. That's a very good point. So Rocky's, he's showing that love, but with that disapproving, but with the love. Say this is coming from love because you're like a crazy brother to me, and I wouldn't be giving this time and attention, and I probably would have knocked your block off the way you're talking to me. But you're a brother to me, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to talk to you instead. And that's when he goes, you're like a crazy brother to me. You really are. So I'm going to tell you something. The world ain't no sunshine and rainbows.
This is straight from the heart.
But I love how this is kind of a foreshadow of the greatest Rocky quote ever for Rocky Balboa. But this is like the embryo version of that speech.
Yes. You ain't down.
Because this is coming straight from the heart,
Paulie. Yeah, straight from the heart.
And he goes, "I mean this.
You're just a jealous, lazy bum."
Yeah, that's big. That's big. You're a jealous, lazy bum. Whoa.
So calls out the jealousy, which I'm sure Paulie hates.
So how does Paulie react to this?
The bum is like
Sorry.
Oh, no worries. You were talking before, like, bum is like the worst thing you can call someone in these movies.
Yeah, bum is a huge insult.
Well, and Paulie's basically almost an actual bum. So, like, he's pretty close. So, but yeah, Paulie, he was fine with it. He took the criticism really well. He did some introspection, and then they hugged it out, and that's the end of the scene, right?
Oh, I think something else. He goes, "I'm going to break your mouth," it says Paulie. But in this scene, he's just like really hurt. He goes, "Okay, I'm going to break your mouth." He starts punching him. I love how Rocky's got the boxing blocks coming up. And Paulie's coming in swinging. He comes swinging in wide. I think it's that weird brother fight that you kind of have. Like, Paulie's hitting his broadside of his body. Like, he's not really going for the face. He's not really going, he's just kind of like punching Rocky like a punching bag out of frustration. Like, I don't think Paulie really wants. I think he knows you probably couldn't hit his face. So he's hitting his arm. He's hitting it pretty hard. In this scene, too, like, Burt Young's hitting Stallone in the arm. He's not really letting up.
Yeah. Like, that was probably very uncomfortable for Stallone.
Yeah.
He had to shoot that scene several times.
He's hitting them. Like, I don't care what you hear the thunking from the hits. I know they do post audio, but I don't know. It's because it's not that overwhelming, but you can hear the thunk of him hitting Stallone's arm.
Well, and Stallone, the way he does these movies is actual physical contact a lot of the time. There's no reason. To me, it would seem absurd that he'd somehow try and get out of it, getting his arms hit like that. Like, it's not reasonable to me.
Yeah, we know we'll talk about it later, but of course we know even in the Thunder Lips Rocky fight, that's Stallone being body slammed and suplexed and thrown around. We know from the Expendable movies, he broke his neck fighting Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stallone is just not afraid to take the bumps and bruises. You know, people can say, "Oh, they're just actors," but you know, whatever. Like he's taking bumps and bruises to make it more realistic for the viewer. Like he wants the viewer to have that viewing experience. You kind of know when they fake it. You know, when the actor rolls on the ground and they come, you can kind of see that it's a different person, and then you know the person comes up and it's not.
Yeah.
And Dolph Lundgren put him in the hospital at one point. He had to be like air-evac out of there. So, yeah, it's safe to say he took some real hits there. I think Paulie actually kind of fights like Clubber Lang. You know, he'll show that in the later scenes. But Clubber Lang basically has one punch. He does. That's his big, wide, swinging shot. But, yeah.
I wouldn't want it. Hey, I know that we're kind of wrapping up. But
well, before we do, let's just wrap up this scene because it's just about done. So after Paulie exhausts himself punching Rocky, what does he ask for?
He asks for a job.
Yeah, that's right. Job.
And Rocky's response was,
"He's out of breath too." He's like, "Can I have a job?"
And of course, Rocky's face is like, "All you had to do was ask."
Yeah.
And then there's that really cheesy music that comes on as soon as he says that. It's like some saxophone crap or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but
I hear it now.
I know we're
totally
wrapping
80s
up.
Comedy. It's totally 80s comedy. And Rocky
I know
says,
we're wrapping up now, but sorry.
No, go ahead.
This is the exact moment when Paulie's character changes completely. Like he kind of has this metamorphosis throughout the movies. Paulie is transitioning right here from kind of a dark character, and from now on, he's going to be silly. And this scene's kind of silly right at the end. Right after this, Paulie's basically got to be comic relief in the rest of these movies.
That's funny. That's a good observation. Well, I know the silliest, goofiest scene, and we'll talk about it in season 4 when we talk about Rocky 4, but is when he's in the snow in Russia, and he's stumbling in the snow in Russia when he gets it. And he's like falling in the snow. You know the scene?
Yeah, he looks like a penguin or something.
So they're about to get into Rocky's car after the little fight there. And Rocky says, "Oh, you punch pretty good." And Paulie's like, "Oh, really?" He goes, "Yeah, superb." And then they're going to the car. I don't know what kind of car this is, but Paulie goes, "You know, it looks like this car looks expensive." And he goes, "Yeah." Rocky goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "Do you have an extra one?" So now Paulie's asking for a free car too.
Which is totally Paulie. That's exactly what Paulie is like.
Right.
Like he has no inhibitions about that. He just asks for what he wants. I don't know. There's a certain word for that I can't think of, but
yeah, I don't know. Big explosive behavior, and then quickly diffuses, and then we'll get into this next episode, but we'll tease it for our viewers and listeners. Right after this fight with Paulie in the garage, we go to Rocky and Adrian's bedroom, and Adrian asks, like, "How was Paulie?" Her exact words were, let me just get it here because I skipped a little ahead. Because it's funny, because Rocky never told her, but she goes, "Any trouble with Paulie tonight?" I don't know.
Unusual.
Nothing unusual. Yeah. So I find it odd. Like, is she asking in general, or does she know that Paulie was in jail? Because Rocky just goes, "Oh, nothing unusual."
Well, she must have known something, because how would she know he was with Paulie?
So Ruben, before we close up, Ruben gave us the bum definition. So one who performs a function poorly. Okay.
Yeah.
So we owe
Or
the legendary. So it kind of means useless. And so it's meant buttocks for much longer, at least. So the German word bumbler was easily shortened to apply to any soldier not worth his ration of corn because he was sitting on his bum all day. There.
Yeah.
So
the more you know.
Yeah, so but it's funny in these movies in the Rocky universe and in the 70s and 80s. I don't know if it's the 70s and 80s. I don't know if it's a Philadelphia thing, but bum is a real insult. I guess because there's a blue collar industry there and stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of work at people, getting up early, going to work, and yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Well, so that was a whole episode just on that exchange. But I actually I think it's worth talking about. Rocky 3, the first 10 minutes has a lot of gems that I think when you watch the movie, they actually come so fast and furious. Fast and Furious 8 in theaters now. Go see it. Just kidding. It comes so fast and furious that there's so much little gems. That conversation they have in the garage, we learned a lot. I don't know. What do you guys think? Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I just want to know what happened to the Rolex watch. I got bills to pay.
I assume somebody picked up that watch. We have to assume that. Well, we don't see it filmed because they go straight to their car. But maybe there was a point.
Well, I think
somebody went back for it.
No, in all seriousness, it was a good scene because it defined who Paulie was to Rocky, how the relationship was going to go forward, and as Kyle said, it kind of changed Paulie a little bit from a adversary character to somebody who's a bit of a punchline.
Tyler Smith just chimed in on our chat. He said, "Great show, guys. Happy Victoria Day." Thanks, Tyler. You too, brother.
Thank you, Tyler.
All right. Well, hey, guys, as always, it's a pleasure to have Kyle with us. Kyle, I know you don't listen to our show anymore. It's disappointing, but...
What? How do you even know that?
I know where the downloads come from.
I downloaded it. I've been catching up, actually.
Okay. I want to thank all over.
I go in waves. I go in waves. But hey, thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, a lot of people do. A lot of people do binge and listen for whatever reason. I think this is the long weekend. We've had hundreds of downloads just this weekend. So throughout our podcast, so I just want to thank all of our listeners, guys, for downloading, because I think the weekend, the summer, people are loading up their iPods or something. But we've had a huge spike today in activity. So thanks to everyone that's listening. Thanks to those viewers that watched today. This audio release will come out in a week, actually in 7 days, 6-7 days. So, Kyle, thank you. Thanks to your mom, Gail, for watching and listening too. Shout out to Gail. Ruben?
Shout out to Ryan for organizing this, having the idea. Thanks, Ryan. Love it.
All right, you guys are awesome. We'll be here again next week.
Until then, ding, ding.
All right.